Somewhere deep in the mountains of northern Luzon, a warrior grips his blade, carved not in a factory, but from centuries of tradition. He tightens his woven armor, eyes scanning the misty tree line. The sun hasn't risen yet, but the fighting has already begun. He isn't just defending his land, he's defending his ancestors, his tribe, his soul. And in his hand, a weapon born from fire, ash, and memory. One minute present. Blades of the Ancients, weapons of the Filipino warriors. Long before the conquistadors set foot on Philippine soil, before Christianity, before gunpowder, before the names Filipino or Maharlika were even spoken, there were blades, there were spears, there were warriors. Over 7,000 islands, each with their own style of war. From headhunters in the Cordilleras to sea raiders in the Visayas. This wasn't one army, it was hundreds of tribes, each with their own weapon. But one thing was common across the archipelago. War was ritual, combat was culture, and weapons were sacred. Let's begin with the kampilan, a sword so long and fearsome, even Spanish soldiers feared it. Shaped like a crocodile's jaw, the kampilan could slice through armor and was often carried with both hands. It's said that the great Visayan warrior Lapu-Lapu may have carried a kampilan when he stood against Magellan in 1521. Some versions of the blade have hair tied to the hilt, horsehair or human, meant to distract the opponent or honor the fallen. Then came the kris, a blade both feared and revered. Unlike European swords, the kris wasn't just straight, it flowed, with a serpent-like curve that gave it its mystical shape. Many believe the kris had a soul, that it chose its wielder, that it could bring fortune or death. Blacksmiths or pandai didn't just forge kris blades. They prayed over them. They anointed them. Some even whispered that the kris could sing before battle. Up north in the Cordilleras, it wasn't swords. It was axes and spears. The head axe, or wasai, was the weapon of choice among the Ifugao and Kalinga. Short-handled, heavy-bladed, and terrifyingly effective. It wasn't just for battle, it was for headhunting. But to headhunt wasn't random violence, it was often spiritual warfare. Taking a head meant gaining power for your village, a way to protect your harvest, your children, your future. Each axe was unique, carved, decorated, and blessed, passed from father to son, blade to blade. Down in the Visayas, where the sea was both road and battlefield, warriors trained in secret arts passed from master to student. They called it eskrima, or arnis, or kali, depending on the island, the teacher, or the era. Today, many see arnis as stick fighting, but in ancient times, it was deadly blade work. Fast, fluid, precise. Training didn't happen in public. It happened in shadows, bamboo groves, beaches, inside homes. Because under colonial rule, learning how to fight could get you killed. So warriors hid the blade in the stick and hid revolution in every movement. During the Spanish era, many Filipinos were forbidden from owning real weapons. But in the mountains and jungles, weapons never truly disappeared. There was the bolo, part farming tool, part battlefield monster. Revolutionaries like Andres Bonifacio and the Katipunan used bolos not just out of necessity, but with pride. They believed it connected them to the soil and to the people who tilled it. Then came the pinuti, a sleek Visayan blade, a farmer's machete transformed for war, sharpened with pig's blood before battle, carried into ambushes, used in close quarters with fatal precision. Across the islands, blacksmiths were not just craftsmen, they were keepers of lore. Some were thought to have Anido spirits guiding their hands. Others were believed to have the power to curse a blade, so it would thirst for blood. To forge a blade was to honor the ancestors. To carry one was to carry their legacy. Even today, the pandai still exist, quietly keeping alive the iron traditions of generations. Each spark, each hammer strike, a prayer in steel. In the pre-colonial South, war didn't always happen on land. It happened at sea. The Iranan and Tausug people were known as expert raiders, navigating the waters with lightning-fast bankas and fearsome Caracoa warships. Armed with lances, projectiles, and bladed oars, they could overtake Spanish galleon using only sails, muscle, and skill. They didn't just fight for conquest, they fought to protect trading routes, defend their waters, and reclaim prisoners. These maritime warriors were called Manggayao, raiders of the sea. To many outsiders, they were pirates, but to their people, they were heroes. Not every blade became famous. In Bicol, warriors sometimes used the ginunting, a blade with a hook tip for slashing in jungle combat. In Zamboanga, the barong, a leaf-shaped sword, was used in tight skirmishes. And in Palawan, tribes fashioned blowguns, not for war, but for silent defense and hunting. Even shields had meaning. The kalasag, a wooden shield carved from hardwood and decorated with tribal patterns, wasn't just protection, it was a canvas of identity. Every region had its own tool, style, and story, but they all shared one thing. Weapons were never just weapons. They were mirrors of the people who held them. Today, ancient Filipino weaponry lives on, not just in museums, but in movement. Arnis, once a secret art, is now the national sport of the Philippines. It's taught in military programs, practiced in dojos across the globe, and featured in movies and video games, from Jason Bourne to Call of Duty. But behind every modern sparring match is a history of resistance, a bloodline of warriors, from Lapu-Lapu to Bonifacio, from mountain tribes to ocean raiders. The blade never left. It just evolved. Imagine this. You're holding a kampilan in your hands. It's not sharp anymore. It's old. The blade is chipped. The hilt is worn. But it still sings. Because inside that metal is the story of every hand that held it, every father that passed it on, every warrior that never made it home. We may not carry these weapons today, but we carry their stories. And in telling them, we keep their spirit alive. If this story made you proud, curious, or just more Filipino than ever, hit that subscribe button and join the tribe here on JuanMinute. Got a myth, weapon, or warrior you want us to cover next? Tell us in the comments. We read everyone. And as always, that's a minute, but this time we went long. This is JuanMinute. See you next time.